her. My parents were allowed 3 warnings if they didn't have 25 chickens when they were counted. After the 3rd warning, the house and land would be donated to the American Poultry Association. After 10 years of keeping 25 chickens, my parents could do whatever they wanted with the farm. My mother said Uncle Sam had gone insane because he'd spent so many years alone with a bunch of chickens. I'd never met my father's Uncle Sam or anyone else in my family. I didn't have any aunts or uncles that I knew about, and I'd never met my grandparents because my mother said that her mother and father had been killed when a tornado tore through their house, and that sharks had attacked my father's parents during a fishing trip off the coast of Texas. But even though I'd never met my father's Uncle Sam, I liked him a lot because I loved the chicken farm he'd given us. My mother wouldn't let me go into the coop alone because she was scared they'd peck my eyes out, and then she'd have to go in and get me. So I spent all of my free time sitting near the fence that separated our backyard from the chicken yard. The chicken yard was just a big yard surrounded by a chain-link fence. When the chickens weren't in their nests laying eggs, I'd watch them dance in the yard or roll in the dirt. When one got close enough to the fence, I'd poke my fingers through one of the holes and try to pet it. Sometimes I'd even talk to them about stuff at school and about this kid named Leon Leonard, who made fun of me because my mother said we kept our chickens for ambiance. The chickens would answer me back and say stuff like, "That's okay, Don. One day Leon Leonard is going to poop in his pants and not have any friends." The chickens didn't really speak back to me. I only imagined that that's what they were saying. It was a lot more fun for me to make up what they were saying because that way they never said anything that I didn't like, and so they became my best friends. I really liked living on that farm, but my mother hated it. She never told that to people when they'd ask her why she and my father lived there. She would tell them that since she and my father were in their late 30s, they thought it was time to leave the city. Then she would add that we didn't keep the chickens to farm them because that would make us chicken farmers, and we were anything but that. She'd tell people that we kept chickens for ambiance, and because we loved fresh eggs. I think this confused some people because a lot of them didn't know the meaning of the word ambiance. And if they did, they didn't think scraping chicken poop off the bottoms of their shoes was ambiance. I guess I've told you all the stuff I need to for now, so I'm going to start telling you about the night of my 11th birthday, when everything kind of started to change. Chapter 2. On the night of my 11th birthday, my mother, father, and I were sitting in our living room eating TV dinners and watching television like we did every night. My father sat in a brown leather recliner and my mother on a dark pink velvet-covered love seat. It looked more like a chair to me, but my mother called it a love seat, and if my father or I called it a chair, she corrected us. I sat on the dark pink velvet-covered sofa. If my father or I called it a couch, my mother corrected us and told us that she didn't know what we were talking about because she didn't have a couch in her living room. She told us that she had a sofa and that we should use the correct word. She called it a sofa on my 11th birthday when she shouted at me, "Don, don't spill. Your sister loved that sofa. I'd hate to have a big stain on it because of your clumsiness." My mother had broken the rule of no talking during regularly scheduled programs, and my father, who had been taking a bite of his chicken cacciatore at the time, looked at her as if she had just given him a math problem that he didn't know the answer to. Anyway, since it was my 11th birthday, I decided I was going to ask my parents for a favor that I'd been wanting to ask for almost a year. It made me kind of nervous, and so I started thinking about a KC and the Sunshine Band song to help me relax. I knew all of their songs because I'd won their greatest hits album at a chicken bingo at Horse Island Food and Furniture. You see, Horse Island Food and Furniture had this contest where they put a chicken in a big cage, like about the size of a bed that 2 people can sleep in. On the floor of the cage was a white